Exactly.
Is
Anyway,
that-
should we start some TV stuff? Or whatever we're doing?
Some TV beef. This isn't a TV show. This is a podcast.
Yeah,
Welcome back to the Chatting Average. 3 years in a row of starting TV beef. I'm John Sansoni. That's Adam Busek. That's John Lieber. Socks not pictured because he was too busy biting John.
Yeah, that's the TV beef we're talking about.
That's the TV beef.
Yeah.
Can't put that on TV.
Cats,
that's right.
I agree.
We can't put cats on TV. It's a dog eat dog world.
It was a really bad musical. I heard. Never saw it.
Well, it was released in theaters, and it just got absolutely panned.
Well, yeah, no, like the musical is fine, but you made an adaptation of it with James Corden.
Well,
and
also
honestly,
Taylor Swift.
Also,
Yeah, so
anything
it's
with James Corden probably not very good.
Right.
Other than like Into the Woods. That was
That wasn't good. That was not. I'm gonna hold my.
So believe it or not, this is a Major League Baseball podcast.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into my opinions on the Into the Woods movie.
No, you should. I would love to hear them.
I mean, like, they cut like 30% of the songs of a Stephen Sondheim musical, and you expect it to make sense, and just like half like.
John, did they go into the woods?
Well, I would. Yeah, they did. Which, like,
and
you know what?
They did the basis of the movie. I'm just gonna say.
It's like the basis of Act 1 of the movie. This is pissing me off. We gotta move on.
He's the easiest to rage bait, dude. He's the
so
easiest
easy.
to
It's so easy. I just like. I mean, I think that they went into the woods, and I think the movie they did that. So I think it accomplished its goal.
Yeah, and Pirates of the Caribbean had pirates in the Caribbean, but when it was at World's End, they weren't literally at the World's End.
How do you know?
You don't know.
We don't know where the world ends.
To you, I don't. I haven't been there.
That's
Science hasn't figured out where the world ends yet. We keep going, and it just keeps going around. We don't know where it is.
It's got to be somewhere. There's got to just be a hole somewhere. Have we explored the South Pole?
No, there is a hole, dude. I saw the Odyssey. There's like a dragon thing that lives
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Right.
It's crazy, man. Like,
yeah, you either got to go through Scylla or you go through the big circle hole in the water.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, John, we just haven't found that yet. There's a lot of land.
That's true. There's a lot of Earth to go through.
There's a lot more water. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably parts of water we haven't even been on yet.
Did you guys know that canonically Odysseus ended up in Canada at one point?
Really?
Yeah, that's if you like map out geographically where the locations supposedly were supposed to be. At one point, he ended up in Canada. That's how lost he got.
Odysseus is actually an oil field worker from Alberta, and you know what?
A vacation in Nova Scotia.
Look, man, I was out in Red Deer a couple days ago.
Out in Regina.
Anyways, I went to the water park this weekend, was in the wave pool, felt like I was Odysseus. John, they went into the woods. Shut up.
All right, so this
Let's
baseball. Let's talk about this baseball podcast.
Let's not talk about the podcast. Let's do the podcast and talk about baseball.
So the schedule for the postseason just got released today. I don't know if either of you have seen this.
Yes, Game 7 would be on Halloween, which is kind of sick.
Game 7 of the World Series would be.
Wait, I worked that day. Fuck.
I also have to work that day. Mizzou plays Arkansas in Fayetteville. How am I going to watch the White Sox win the World Series?
So we're instantly getting off of baseball again, but how fucking stupid is it that they swapped Mizzou and Oklahoma for rivalry week? Like, why are we not playing Arkansas during rivalry week anymore? Why is that?
Because Arkansas kept complaining.
Oklahoma.
Arkansas kept complaining, like, we're not real rivals with Mizzou.
We're not rivalries with them. We want to get beat by LSU every year.
Yeah.
We want to get beat by LSU.
No matter what. They're not.
Well, what I think is really funny is that they kept Mizzou and Arkansas as permanent opponents, so it really doesn't matter. They're still going to lose to Mizzou every year. Can we get back to baseball?
Basketball. Basketball is a bit of an irradiated topic right now. Let's move on from that.
Yeah. For the pre-show.
So for the postseason, the wild card series for the AL and NL would start on September 29th.
That's a
for the
great
postseason, right?
That's next month.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. When you get to that point in the summer, I feel like there were no dog days of baseball this year. Does anybody else feel like that? Or
No,
is that
I think
this month.
Well, it's because the deadline got pushed back.
Is that what it is?
There's no stretch after before you get into September. It's you're already
and it may be
September now.
It may be this until August, but or until September. I'm sorry, like August through September. But September 29th, it does not feel like they've already played 100 and something games, and every team has already played 115.
Right, which shocked me.
Anyways,
either the season has felt really fast or so much has happened. It's such a dense season.
So much has happened.
I mean, everyone breaking their hamate bone was this season.
Yep.
Remember that?
Doesn't Jose Ramirez technically have a broken hamate bone, but is playing?
This is how I felt last year in September when we were sitting around talking about, hey, don't you remember the torpedo bats?
Oh my god! So the Braves played the Yankees this past series.
We can't.
This is relevant. This is relevant, and I noticed Austin Wells using the torpedo bat, and it was like I felt like that one scene in Ratatouille where he flashes back to his childhood when he eats the dish. I was like, oh my, that was so. It felt so long ago, and I looked. It was like 1 year.
It was last year.
Yep.
All right, so the wild card series.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
September
right. So the wild
29th
card
and 30th
series
would be the first two games, and then game 3 would be on October 1st, which then begs the question of why are all the other series separated by multiple days when we can play a wild card series in 3 days? I
guess travel?
Maybe we don't answer that question. Second question, wild card series presented by AbbVie. Anybody know what that is?
Pharmaceuticals, I think.
Can't get on that topic either. The division series start on October 3rd and run through October 10th.
This is when the playoffs actually start. Yeah.
With some of those games being available on HBO Max. What?
So
never mind. Okay, we are not starting until
No, not only, but they're on TBS, True TV, and HBO Max, which I think is because they're all owned by Turner.
So, no, look at this. So the ALDS and the ALCS are on TBS, True TV, HBO. So they're all on the good Turner side of it. The NLDS and the NLCS are on Fox and FS1. They did the NFL split for the DS and CS.
Yeah.
They did the Fox CBS split.
Can I tell you why?
Why?
Well, because the NL playoffs will be more exciting than the AL playoffs.
Maybe. I don't know. That does mean that we could get another Bob Costas appearance at a Yankees Guardians.
Oh god.
I do have a question though.
Dude, he's legitimately maybe the worst broadcaster in professional baseball right now.
Which sucks because at one point he was the exact opposite.
Every time I see that clip floating on Twitter of him calling the Yankees grounding into that double play, I lose my mind.
And this is exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of an American League team until the World Series, are you just I'm sorry. If you're a fan of an American League team who primarily or only speaks Spanish, are you just not allowed to understand what's happening in the game? Until the World Series? Because every AL series just doesn't have a Telemundo or a Fox Deportes. So they just
a lot of them probably listen to the radio broadcast, I would imagine.
I guess. I just think that's dumb. Where is Telemundo?
Every game is broadcast in Spanish on the MLB TV app. So you can you got to pay separately for the radio subscription than you do for the TV subscription, which I think is super stupid. But it's also only $4 a month. So to get all the games on the radio, which is not terrible.
So something
I have MLB TV. I listen to radio all the time off of it for free.
It's true. Same.
You can have them packaged.
Oh,
So something I'm noticing here on
please.
the specific layout is that and this was tweeted out by Lou Merloni with Nesson, so this is relating to the AL side of it. The ALDS first 3 games are every other day. So like the NLDS and ALDS and the CSs are staggered. But then the game 1 starter can go on normal rest on game 4, then an off day, then game 5. We might see some really interesting rotation management, especially going down the stretch where I think pretty much every contending team has had, at least the way I've noticed, is like a lot more of a focus on adding these like playoff caliber starters, that we might see guys go like, there's a chance we could see the same starting pitcher pitch 3 times in a full length DS or CS series. There's a chance. I'm not saying it's likely. I don't think it's a good idea either. But I mean, if one of the
This is throwback baseball,
right,
circa 1990,
like, because I mean, Yoshinobu Yamamoto almost pitched in that almost pitched in multiple games of the World Series. Like he was gonna be in the bullpen, and that Mariners Tigers game where that went 17 innings. It felt like, was it 17? Might have been 16, but it was if you're in that position, you might have to go back to your rotation to see who's available. I mean that's October baseball is going to be fascinating this year. I don't know if it's necessarily more or less than normal, but when you're staring down the smoking barrel of a potential lockout, I think this could be a more full throttle playoff series or playoff experience than we've seen in the past.
I think October baseball will be very fun this year, but mostly because other than the Dodgers, there's like no clear cut go figure it out and win. Like the Dodgers are obviously the team that everybody will be like, yeah, they're making the World Series.
Here's 3 of can anybody stop the Dodgers?
Right. And it's like the NL is where it can happen pretty much because like the Braves could beat them, the Cubs could beat them, the Brewers could beat them, but like that's pretty much it.
I don't know.
Like the Brewers won't beat them. The Brewers will be the Brewers will have the best record at going into the playoffs and then lose their first 3 games. So
correct. They do it every year.
But I don't know. I think it's going to be a really interesting playoff because of. I also just think there's like weird teams in the playoff this year. Like, how are the Arizona Diamondbacks going to make the wild card? Somebody explain that part to me. The Texas Rangers are also going to somehow squeak in, as if like the season ended today. Like they have the final wild card spot.
The AL West is going to be bizarre.
Like the Astros have the lead in the AL West right now by 1 game, or by like they're a game over 500 by 1 game because the Rangers are in second at 59 and 59. Like nobody has a positive run differential in the AL West. How does that even make sense?
Baseball, baby.
How does that even make sense?
They are the reverse Brewers where, they can't be frauds because everyone has bad pitching and everyone has bad hitting and everything's just bad in the AL West.
Everything's just bad.
But you know what? Someone has to be the king of the trash heap to go get curb stomped by a real playoff team come wild card time.
Believe it.
So I have to wonder here, who is your like dark horse for the AL and NL playoffs? Like who is the team that you think could either start climbing again or make a sneaky push into a longer run?
I mean, it feels weird to say because of how their deadline looked, because the notable profile that got moved at the deadline. But I would not be surprised to see Detroit sneak into the playoffs again as a wild card team.
I think what happened with the AL Central is really interesting because this weekend the Sox beat the Guardians, which now separates them by 4 games. And I think the Guardians will end up being the second place team in the American League Central. The Guardians and the White Sox still have to both play the Twins and the Tigers a lot, going to this last like month and a half of the season. And I think they're just going to beat the crap out of them. I think though, like there is a small chance in the back of my head that the Twins outpace the Guardians enough that they are like the final wild card team in from the American League. I don't think they do anything, but I think I'd be surprised if the Minnesota Twins play playoff baseball this year. And I don't know if that's not a dark horse. I know that's what John asked, but like, I also don't know what you would consider a dark horse, because my dark horse would be the freaking Boston Red Sox. Yeah, but are they a dark horse right now, or are they the American League favorite? Like if you look at their technically they just lost 3 in a row, or 2 they just lost the series to the A's, but like, if you take out those last 2 games, they're ungodly hot. Like,
hey, the resurgent A's, dude, fire their general manager, and all of a sudden, we're making a push.
They're 2-8 over their last 10, but those last 2 games were wins.
Those last two.
Only 12 games out of the wild card. I'm just saying.
That's not bad. They can get there. Plenty of
There's
games
a chance
left.
Everyone's favorite bear trap.
There's more than 12 games left in the season.
No, everyone's favorite bear trap is the Cleveland Guardians, who are 1.5 games back. Or the Cincinnati
People are still
Reds.
actively
From the
stepping
wild
into
card,
the Cleveland Guardians bear trap, I would argue.
What'd you say?
I'd say people are actively stepping into the Cleveland Guardians bear trap.
Dude, I would like to. Do we want to finish this dark horse conversation? The NL,
Yeah.
But dude, the Guardians rookie, Noah, however you say it. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? The switch.
Yeah, I don't know how to say
that
it.
wants to be the next Frankie Lindor. Ungodly good. I've never been terrified of a rookie at the plate before. Like in his second series. Like he was in his second series this weekend, and every time he came up, I was like, well, hopefully we get this guy out.
Yeah, 955 OPS over 19 at bats, 7 hits, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, splitting time between second and third. Another young infielder for the Guardians. I feel like they're always switch hitter. They're always doing this.
There was, I think it was yesterday's game. They're like 6, 7, 8, and 9 hitters were all switch hitters. Did they do a draft like the Angels one year? Instead of taking all pitchers, they were like just all switch hitters.
So
just
let's see if
we can get all these guys to the league. Like
looking at their shortstop depth chart, Brian Rocchio, switch hitter. Angel
third right now though.
Ginao, switch hitter. Ginao, and then Angel Martinez, switch hitter.
Still Hina.
Not to mention, of course,
have 2 different rookies that are both named Angel.
Not to mention Patrick Bailey, switch hitter. Jose Ramirez, switch hitter as well.
I would argue Patrick Bailey not a hitter, but that's beside the point.
When Patrick he holds Bailey, the bat, he does it from either side of the plate. Batting.
Adam, unfortunately, the White Sox radio broadcast booth would agree with you. Every time he came up to bat, they were like, well, he's hitting 191 this year. He might show bunt.
Below the Mendoza line. It's where you want to be. Especially in August, dude. Especially in August, you want to be having that bad a year.
Yeah. But no, he was very good. And I mean, obviously he's what'd you say, 19 at-bats into his career, John? Yeah, 19 ABs into his career, but like just looks and feels like a baseball, like a long-term baseball player when he's at the plate. Like,
I mean, they almost have like an embarrassment of riches, you know, with the young players they have. Petey Halpin, Chase DeLauder, you know, obviously the multiple Angels.
All right, hang on. What is Angel?
It's funny is that the oldest thing on this team is really the pitching staff is way older than the position players, like across the board for the Guardians. You know, I'm looking at it. There are only 2 players born in the 21st century, Franco Aleman and Parker Messick, and the entire pitching staff.
That's kind of insane. I won't lie.
Yeah. I know Messick's a rookie. Is the other guy a rookie as well?
Let me see. Yes, he is.
Sounds about right.
He was activated 3 days ago, most recently, but he's been up and down.
Right.
So, you know, the Guardians are really on a positive trajectory, like grand scale. I mean, you have one of the better managers, one of the better, like at least position player trajectories. The thing is that they always feel like they're just short, like they're just missing something all the time.
I think the issue comes from the fact that I don't really know why they are, but they're a small market team. I feel like they shouldn't be in Cleveland. They should not be a small market team, but they are.
Well, I mean, they're one of 2 teams in the state.
I guess.
Like, that's a hard sell.
But
Even if Ohio is a large state.
Right.
But they always sell. They always sell people off. Like, think of everybody. Like Shane Bieber. Finally they got rid of Shane Bieber, but they were thinking about getting rid of Shane Bieber for years. They got rid of Francisco Lindor. They blew up the 2016 team.
They operate very much the same way the Brewers do in the National League, of just kind of churning through players and getting rid of them before they're expensive enough to bog down the entire machine.
Exactly.
And while there's some merit to that, while that's a baseball system that seemingly works well enough to get them to the postseason almost every year, it makes me wonder, A, if the ceiling's ever high enough to win a championship operating a team like that, and B, if your fans are better off for it, right? Would you rather a team that makes the playoffs every year and loses in the first round, or would you rather miss the playoffs every once in a while, but also have the ability to compete for a championship every once in a while as well? Like, as a fan, I'd rather have that hope.
I'd rather compete for a championship and not just make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing. I think I saw a tweet relatively recently about how it was an interview with Jeff Passan where he was saying that there are very few, if any, front offices that really understand that fans want to see teams win. A lot of front offices want to have more future projectability and we're building a strong foundation, and just kind of bluntly, fans would rather see a championship than assume that there's going to be a championship in 10 years, and a lot of owners and front offices kind of curtail their spending or their ethos or whatever it is to match that, to be like, okay, well, we're going to, we're planning for 2027. We're planning for 2028. You still have fans riding on everything you're doing in 2026. And, obviously this season we're kind of past any major, operational moves that could make a team that much better right now.
Correct. Right now, the ship you have is the ship you're going to ride in.
Right.
The postseason.
But that shouldn't. But when February or March 2027 rolls around, assuming you're allowed to sign players and that there's a collective bargaining agreement that you've decided on, it would behoove you.
Don't assume that.
Yeah, right. But you should be thinking instead, okay, I'm a multimillionaire / billionaire. My business is directly correlated to the success of the team I put on the field. Fans will come to games if they are happy with the team. I could do one of 2 things. I could either not really care about the team because it's, an MLB team is still a regularly, profitable organization, but burn a bridge with the fan base, or pay the money. Just write the checkbook, because an owner, a sports franchise owner that is not, the most knowledgeable person in the room is at their best when they are facilitating the knowledgeable people in the room by just signing the damn check. Like, and I don't think it'll happen. Lord knows that, John, you would know this. Adam, you would know this. Ownership are very difficult to change. Ownership are rather stuck in their ways. They don't leave often on their own terms. So, maybe this is the dreamer in me saying that I think they should do something about it. But even so, a team like the Guardians have this sort of future projectability, but it always feels like they're one or two moves away from actually winning now.
Britt Garoli, who I believe is with The Athletic, had a very interesting article earlier this week, kind of building an argument, I think, for the concept that the competitive window doesn't actually exist and teams should stop acting as if they're in some sort of competitive window. And I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to, like, what your thoughts on that are. Because to me, I think there is like a competitive window, right? There are years that you build towards. You have teams that you think can compete for a championship and teams that you think can't. But if you have a team outside of a window year who happens to pop and happens to be working together, like, I almost feel like as an executive, it's your responsibility to try and win that year no matter what.
I agree. I think, I look at teams like the Brewers from last year. They didn't buy enough when they should have. Or 2024 Tampa Bay. Was that the year that they almost went like undefeated in April practically?
I think so.
Like they went through the entire month like 25-4. Like, you probably should have bought more that year. Like you weren't on schedule. You were ahead of schedule. And because you were ahead of schedule, you said, well, we'll see how we do this year instead of buying like insane and trying to win a World Series.
Right.
I think when your team pops, you should go. And I say that as like a White Sox fan who would love to see them compete actually in the playoffs. But like the Sox are ahead of schedule. And if they lost 122 or 121 games 2 years ago, and they're going to make the playoffs and probably win the division this year. Like, next year, they should be buying like an insane amount at the deadline. Like, unless they re-sign Munetaka Murakami or extend him, like, next year should be the year you go all in, trade everyone, get the best team possible and figure it out. Like, you shouldn't be looking, well, some of our young guys that we really want to be a part of our next core are not going to be ready till 2028. It's like, then trade them. Bring in somebody who's ready right now. Like, I think a window exists, but I think it's also very fluid, right? Like,
Yeah.
Again,
That's kind of
example
where I'm at as well.
Yeah, like example, like the Chicago, not the Cubs. Well,
I would argue the White Sox right now are a team maybe that are a year ahead of their window, but that shouldn't
I would think
preclude their ownership and their management from trying to put together a championship team this year anyway.
Yeah,
The
I agree.
Phillies were a year ahead of their window, and they went to the World Series in, what was that, 22?
Yeah. That's like I think it's like when you get ahead of schedule, it's like you shouldn't, like, your schedule should adjust. Like, it should not be like, well, we signed this guy and he's actually been really good and suddenly our team's pretty solid around him. And it's like, you can kind of like you, Adam, you bring up the White Sox, but I think when you look at the White Sox, like when you look at their deadline, they kind of built around Murakami to the fact that like everybody they traded for has years of control instead of being like, yeah, we're going to win this year. So, and most of them are like either control into next year or 2 years down the line. It's not like we traded for anybody who's like 8 years on an 8-year contract, but like next year when the White Sox are in the same position, they need to be trading for a World Series team. They need to be trading for a team that can compete at the highest level. And I think that will happen. And I think that's just something, I don't know, like
next year this could be the Miami Marlins. Like, I don't
Right.
think the Phillies are going to be as good as they were this year. They haven't been good this year. Like, they're not going to be very good next year. I don't know how long you can roll with a 38-year-old team and just expect to keep winning. Like, I think the Marlins have the chance to suddenly be good next year if they go out and they have a good start to the year and you trade for people at the deadline and your window's probably 2 years ahead for the Marlins.
Well,
It
the
kinda just-
key for the Marlins specifically is that their whole pitching staff, for the most part, is intact. Like, they didn't
Right.
blow it up at the deadline, even after having a bad year like this. Like, this was supposed to kind of be. I would still argue that their window hasn't opened yet, but like,
I
this
don't
was
think
supposed
so.
to be a step in the right direction after last year overperforming.
Right.
I don't know. These
Right.
things
And
are
they're,
very
like,
ridiculous, I guess, is what
Right
I'm
now,
trying to say.
right now they're a game ahead, or a game over 500. But like, I think that when teams get stuck in that, this course sucked, our window's closed. It's like, did you do enough? Did I don't. I'm trying to think of like a team to point to. I don't like the Phillies. Like, you made to the World Series, and then like, did you do enough after that? Did you close your own window because you didn't continue to go after people?
The Colorado Rockies problem.
Yeah, like exactly. Like, you're a good team, you make the playoffs, you have a good run, and then you just stop. Why? Because 7 years ago you said our window's 2018 to 2022? Like, how does that make any sense? I don't get, rebuilding is always really interesting to me. Sometimes you have to rebuild. Sometimes every single guy you bring up to be good at the major league level is really bad, i.e. the Chicago White Sox. Like, you had to blow that team apart. The Cubs from the 2016 core of Cubs, you had to blow that team up. They were doing nothing. Separate them all, get new guys in, and look where they are now. Are they a World Series team? In my opinion, probably not. But like, the same idea, right? Like, you have to
Carl
blow that up.
Armstrong's a 10 war player. They can do anything.
Well, exactly. Like, but like, that's like, I think there's times where you have to blow the team up, but there's times where you should be making adjustments and trying to build
Right.
and keep your window open longer.
This is a concept I think that's more common maybe in college football than you see in baseball, but the idea of, instead of a rebuild, a retool.
Mhm.
Yes. I don't understand. Baseball is very quick to go, screw it, we're gone. Everybody's off the team. We're trading everybody
Right.
at the deadline. And you're like, you
Yeah,
were two games
every
under
year there's
500.
one or two teams that tears everything down at the deadline.
And it's like, you're 2 games under 500. Like,
The Cardinals this year, for example.
does a week of wins change your entire opinion? Yes. Then it's a 162 game season. Next year, a week of wins could fall a different way for you, and you're right back in, and you're trading for people,
Right.
not trading away people.
And the volatile part of any sport is health. Every team, every sport, every physical exertion takes a toll on a body, and you can't necessarily predict to any degree of success when and where someone's body's going to fail. At that same time, when you have your stars and you know that you have them healthy, you should be planning like they're never going to get hurt again. If they get hurt, then if you've added around them, you have players who can buoy that success. If you assume that they are the only player and they do get hurt and you are 2 years out of your window and you haven't done anything to extend that window or push it up, now you are 2 years out of your window. You have to force players who aren't ready to get ready. You could potentially stunt their development by forcing them into a position where they are not prepared. And then, they're getting everyday at bats, but they're just struggling because they're a AA player in MLB because they just had to be there because you didn't have enough bodies. There are very few cases, and like, obviously you can't predict that, but there's something to be said for almost baby proofing your team, for building this sort of cushion of, we know we have enough WAR to replace you if we need
I
to.
wonder if there are any recent examples, maybe in the last 5 years or so, of teams with a superstar that gets injured in the first half of the season and then spending the deadline just recreating that superstar in the aggregate and then winning the World Series anyway. I wonder if there's any examples of that.
Look, man, I wouldn't say that Jock Peterson and Eddie Rosario and Jorge Soler are necessarily equal to one Ronald Acuna, but it worked.
It worked.
And, honestly, I would not necessarily say that is something you should go forth and emulate if you are a GM listening to this.
If
that
you're
was a
GM
flash in the
listening
pan.
to this,
Right.
don't
Why?
make Ronald Acuna tear his ACL.
Yeah, don't let him do that. Or
good one.
he
That's
keeps
a good
tearing
one.
things. At the same time,
Me,
it also
when I'm a paper shredder.
we the interesting thing it did was, you could see, it showed you the exact way a GM tendency can change. Alex Anthopoulos, I'll use him as an example here because we're talking about this team, was very gung-ho in Toronto. He was making a lot of moves really quickly. And he comes to Atlanta, and now he is an incredibly conservative GM, making 1-year deals, expiring contract trades, depth piece moves. They aren't going for the big splash. And I think a lot of that had to do with what happened in 2021. The Braves are a team that has a core like that, and they're fortunate that it came up through their system and that their window is open for all intents and purposes. But that philosophy can't work in every position. And there's a lot of GMs who try this conservative, we're just trying to steady our position moves, who don't have that core, who are trying to buy and sell. How many teams did we talk about at this deadline who were just sort of swapping chess pieces and weren't really making a move on the board? There was a lot of sort of just shuffling without a lot of movement. And that can't be a permanent solution. Especially in a climate where, contracts are only ever going to get more expensive. You're not,
Wow.
Baseball's not getting any cheaper. There's,
Salary
but
cap pending.
unless you get a salary cap. But if you're
Which
an
won't
owner,
be happening.
Hopefully not.
if you're an owner, you're trying real hard to get that to happen. If you're a player, you're trying real hard to keep that from happening. Vice versa for a salary floor. So whatever does happen, if anything does happen, this, money obviously drives so much of this. And money over time does so much of this. But the fear of having a high payroll should not be your driving decision as a baseball general manager or as a player or as a, president of baseball operations or whatever. Because the Mets, they spend a lot. They literally named a tax level out of for your owner because he just spends so much. Now, it hasn't worked for you. I don't know necessarily how much of that is the fault of the New York Mets, or it's just a bunch of bad, giving the right money to the wrong player. But if I would much rather have more teams be like the Mets than like the Braves in a front office.
My question then would be about, obviously we'd rather see a lot more teams compete. Like the American League is going to have a team probably under 500 make the playoffs. How does a team like the A's, how does a team like the Angels, how does a team like the Rockies, the Giants, the Reds turn it around?
For the Rockies specifically, I think the answer is pray that in expansion we get reshuffled into a different division. But for American League teams, the A's specifically, I think their biggest hurdle right now is finding a place to plant their feet, whether that's going to be in Vegas whenever that stadium opens, or if that stadium doesn't end up happening, whether that ends up being in Sacramento. Like, they have other issues besides trying to win right now.
Right.
What's the argument for expansion? Because there are way too many bad teams to have expansion.
I don't think
That would be my
I
argument
don't
against
think-
expansion. There's terrible teams in both leagues that don't have stars, that don't have anybody exciting on their teams.
right. Well,
And,
I think
like, an expansion has to come with something that breaks up the Dodgers.
Well, an expansion draft almost certainly would. There's no
Well,
way you
right,
could
yeah.
protect all those kind of, yeah.
my thought.
I don't know. It would. That's, I think, the argument is adding 2 new teams and the expansion draft that subsequently comes with it just kind of reshuffles the deck, right? And I think there's enough AAA talent on contending teams that are blocked, or
Right.
prospects that are maybe having their service time manipulated, that, like, we could. There's enough talent to fill out 2 more major league teams. I believe that.
I have a question on how expansion would work, although that's not exactly what we're talking about, but I guess we're switching into it. So I guess you'd protect guys on your 40-man, right? However many you would get
Here, let's see what the
in the
last one
expansion
was
draft.
like.
Yeah, because the last
Because-
expansion was Tampa and Arizona, right? Both came in '95.
The most recent one was 1997, which brought the
97.
Diamondbacks and Devil Rays in.
Okay.
The procedures were the Devil Rays and the Diamondbacks could pick any player not on a protected list from the 28 other teams, although no team could lose more than 1 player in a given round. The protected list for each team was, at least for the first round, 15 players from the rosters of their entire organization, including their 40-man roster and all minor league affiliates.
Gotcha.
And then after each round, each team could protect 3 more players. Every player in the organization was eligible to be drafted unless you had no major league experience, less than 3 years of service if you were signed at age 19 or older, or less than 4 years of service if you were signed under the age of 18.
Total service, like minor league service, major league service?
Like service time, like total service time. So assuming that you are, this works relatively the same in 2029 or whatever, whenever they decide to do this, because Manfred's going to want to do it before he leaves. You, as a major league decision maker, have to pick 15 players in your entire system round 1
That's
that
crazy.
are untouchable. After that, after they pick 1, you pick 3. So you get to cover a little bit more, but that's still only 18 players, or 17 or 18 players. Like a team like the Dodgers, who have, if I had to guess, more than 15 good players in their entire system.
Right.
Last I checked.
No, not River Ryan.
Well, but that's the thing
Literally.
is, if River
took
Ryan hadn't been
28-year-old
dealt, if River
they took
Ryan hadn't been
28-year-old
dealt, who's to say? Who's to say that a player like that wouldn't be something that a new team in
Yeah.
Nashville or Salt Lake or Montreal, please,
These.
who's to say that they wouldn't build around that? Because when it would force more competition, because now you can't sit on your thumbs and be like, well, we have a really good player like River Ryan, for example, but our rotation is just so crowded, and well, he's rehabbing, but we'll let him take his time on his rehab because we just don't need him right now. And do I think River Ryan could at least be a mid-rotation piece for at least one major league team right this second?
Yep.
For a couple of these rotations? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. What you have to remember from the last round of expansion is that the Diamondbacks built a juggernaut with that draft, right? Like, they won the World Series 3 years later.
Right. Not to mention, like players that got picked. I mean, round 1, Bobby Abreu went pick 6 to the Devil Rays. Dimitri Young went pick 16. Tony Batista went 27th. You know, like each team. The thing is each round is going to be as long as many teams there are. So this next expansion draft is going to be 30 picks a round. You know, and or however the math is going to work out for them. Every team is going to have someone get picked. Correct. In however many times it takes for them to fill, you know, their entire 40-man, essentially, just bare minimum. You know, is a new team going to have a good farm system immediately? Absolutely not. Are you kidding? It's going to look terrible. They're going to be on the bottom of prospect lists for like probably 2 or 3 years.
A lot of indie ball guys. But you can also use the pieces you just got as prospect capital.
Right.
The Rays traded for Fred McGriff with pieces they got in the expansion draft. This, you know, it is going to swing the doors open. You know, is it going to be necessarily good for like money? I don't know. It depends on who they give the bid to. If it's a free spending owner like a Steve Cohen, then maybe. If it's another Reinsdorf, then, well, shit, I don't know. We're kind of doomed at that point.
With the moment, I know this has been mentioned before, but like the weird moment in time where Jerry Reinsdorf either, I'm not wishing this, but dies, or between 2029 and 2034 when Justin Ishbia takes over the team, it's going to be a really weird moment in time where the White Sox go from like a bottom 5 spender to being like, yeah, the pocketbook is open. Nothing?
No. Yeah, you're right. That would be weird.
I'm just trying to hide. I'm just trying to not show a physical reaction to you talking about that.
Yeah. Better edit and upload this one quick, H, or else we might have some explaining to do.
Yeah, John, let's get this one uploaded before that happens tonight. I mean,
okay, because like we've talked about,
if Jerry Reinsdorf dies before this podcast comes out, it's not our fault. I just want to put that out there.
Look, because
also, if it happens, I'm telling John we're cutting this episode.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
also, if Jerry Reinsdorf dies, we're doing an emergency pod, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because
John Lieber's team is suddenly really good.
So, obviously, you know, when there is another 2 major league teams, we're going to have to shuffle all over again. We're going to have new divisions. You know, my brother asked me this recently. He's like, what are the divisions going to look like? I'm like, I have no clue. I don't know.
How do you like 2 divisions are just going to have 6 teams? How does that work?
No, I think
you do
just
4 divisions.
4x4.
4x4.
Okay.
Yeah.
4x4. Me when I'm looking at the back of a Ford.
And then I guess it's just each division champ plus 2 wild cards.
Well, no, because if what's his name, Manfred's going to add 2 teams, he's going to mess up the playoff structure again.
Yeah, they're going to expand the playoffs. Just like, expand the league.
Can't wait for MLB in-season tournament to hit, dude. That'd be crazy.
The MLB Cup. No, they're doing that. It's called the Olympics.
Well, that's cool though. That's different.
When are the Olympics? 28, right?
Yes.
Is there like a small chance we get to the Olympics and there still hasn't been a Major League Baseball game after this season?
No comment.
I mean, like, it is technically mathematically possible, I'm sure. It won't happen. Like,
yeah.
The thing is
baseball could end tomorrow, dude. You never know.
Yeah. The product of baseball is just too damn profitable. If they're not going to let it go that long. You know, players were going to want to get paid. Owners are going to want to make money. Like, as harsh of a negotiation as it can be, if they lose more than 1 season, riots in the streets.
Correct. Like, that would have drastic implications on the league as a whole, even once they come back to playing the games.
Right.
Just a reminder that the chatting average will not take a break of solace with the Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association when the lockout does happen. We instead will be only talking about KBO.
I thought we decided on NPB.
Did we decide on MPB?
I thought we were doing CPBL, hence why we had to have.
Oh, yeah,
physical,
that's right. That's right.
Which was the whole, like, we have to establish a position on the number of Chinas. Again, not addressing that.
Not addressing
How many Chinas do you think there are? Tell us in the comments. No, don't do that. Actually, don't do that. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. Do not do that. I don't know
and
who's...
remember, they're always watching.
I mean...
Should we move on?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
We're getting close to our time here. We don't have a time.
We want to just go to the grid.
Grid. Let's do the grid.
No.
Just go to the grid.
Do I get a
Immaculate
moment on Tim Anderson?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. All right.
Although
Yeah,
everybody
before.
else will remember Tim Anderson as the guy who season and career ended when Jose Ramirez decided to barely touch him. I will remember Tim Anderson as the coolest baseball player to ever play White Sox baseball. The spaghetti moments when he'd hit a home run on the first pitch. The whole reason that this jersey was created was because the White Sox admitted it today. They're on September 17th, they're honoring Tim Anderson and they're bringing back the Southside uniforms, which they had to file an agreement with the MLB to do that. So they admitted that these jerseys were just the aura of Tim Anderson embodied by an entire team. Also, the coolest moment in a Major League Baseball game happened because Tim Anderson hit a home run in a field of corn in Iowa. So let's remember him that way and not the guy who Tim Anderson but that Jose Ramirez actually didn't make contact with when he fell over. Anyways, the grid.
Can we get a fact check on that? Can we get a fact check on that?
You know what?
I'll watch the video again.
The Immaculate Grid is a 3x3 grid, 3 rows, 3 columns, 9 intersections that you place players in to match with whatever the categories are on the rows and columns. These could be teams, awards, statistics, categories, whatever. The grid today is, for the columns, the Kansas City Royals, the Chicago Cubs, and a 40-plus WAR career. WAR being wins above replacement. The rows are the Cincinnati Reds, the Baltimore Orioles, and the Boston Red Sox. For the Reds Royals, I do have one.
Please.
Give me Garrett Hampson.
Nice. I have a Oriole Royal I would perhaps like to offer.
Please.
Johnny Giavotella.
Fantastic. White Sox hat.
Interesting.
Cub Red.
Hang on.
Give me Taylor Rogers.
For a what? A Cub Red?
Yeah, Cub Red.
Can we have a can we take a moment to realize that Giavotella never played for the White Sox, but is in a White Sox hat?
That's a little surprising.
4 years with Kansas City, 2 years with the Angels, 1 year in Baltimore.
He must have signed like a spring training or a minor league and then just never played.
Birmingham 2018, he played with the Chicago White Sox in Charlotte and Birmingham. All right. Next, keep going. I'm sorry.
So, all right, Cubs, Reds, Taylor Rogers.
Yeah, that's already in.
Okay.
Royals, Red Sox.
Please.
Franchi Cordero.
We love Franchi Cordero.
Cubs,
This is a Franchi Cordero household.
Nice.
Cubs, Red Sox.
Yeah.
my gut really wanted to do Reese McGuire, but I want to do Garrett Cooper. Braves legend Garrett Cooper.
What if we wait?
What if we wait?
They don't know. Never mind.
What else do we need?
The entire 40+ WAR row, and then Cubs Orioles.
40+ WAR for the 40+ WAR for the Orioles. Give me Colorado Rockies legend Jamie Moyer.
Oh yeah.
We got him.
40+ WAR Red Sox. Give me some Nomar Garcia Parra.
+40 WAR Reds. Give me Scott Rowland.
Okay, we need a Cub Oriole.
Cub Oriole.
Cub Oriole.
It's quite a few Cubs Orioles.
Correct.
Oh, this was one that we talked about as like a Immaculate Grid legend in the past. Vidal Brujan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because we talked about it. Like he played like I think 1 or 2 games with the Orioles.
Like 1 game with the Orioles,
and because he would just come from the Cubs, and like I remember being like, "There's no way." Yeah, because he went straight from the Orioles to the Braves. I remember that.
57% was the hardest spot, which was the Royals and the Orioles. Royal Oriole. Garrett Cooper, the lowest guest answer that we used today.
Nice, dude.
0.03. Garrett Hampson, 0.05.
Shout out the Garretts.
Nomar Garcia Parra, 2. Jamie Moyer, 0.5. Scott Rowland, 3. So I don't think we could have done much better than Nomar.
Yeah, I was going to say
Scott
40+
Rowland.
WAR is a difficult.
But like, if we didn't have them, if you take those guys out, you give them similar percentages of what we had on everything else, we would have had like a 2. Quite solid day, my friends.
So, you want to take us out?
I wonder who he's talking to. Adam, thoughts?
Either of you.
Oh, this has been The Chatting Average. You can follow us on Twitter on The Chatting AVG. You can listen to us on the podcast apps, wherever you get your podcasts, like podcasts for Amazon Music, podcast on Spotify, podcast on YouTube, podcasts on Apple Music, podcasts on... That might be it.
I think so. Yeah, it's close.
We're on Pandora Radio. We're on Sirius XM. We're on...
You can go to a bar and ask the bartender to put us on the aux cord. You can do that.
You can do that. You can also turn your channel or your TV to channel 1109, and we'll be there.
No guarantee we'll be doing The Chatting Average, but we will be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. You just have 3 cameras on us at all times, so it's fine. You'll figure it out. With that, John Sansoni has a Braves game to get to. Will they win tonight? Adam?
Yes.
John?
Probably not.
I say yes. We have better outlooks on the Braves than John does. John Lieber and Adam don't have a Braves game to go tonight, so let it ride. Let it ride. So everybody knows The Chatting Average.
Bye.
Let it ride.